I posted some shorts about this earlier, but my Civivi Cogent, the S35 VN version, started doing some weird stuff where it wouldn't quite stick in the detent, and if I didn't slam the blade open, it would kind of just rattle around. I think there was something binding up the button lock. So I'm going to take this excuse to disassemble this and clean it out, because up until it got a little wonky, it was my current favorite light / medium duty gentleman's type knife, but that kind of put a little hiccup in my giddy up. So let's disassemble it, let's see how hard that is to do, and let's take a look, and we'll see if I can find any culprit, clean out any debris, and then hopefully put it back together successfully. So stay tuned, let's find out what happens. Alright, so confession time. Never ever taken a knife apart before. I don't know if you're gonna be like noob, lamer, whatever, but I've never done it before. So I'm planning on using my Wheeler gunsmith screwdrivers, but I may revert over to some fix-it sticks, because this is pretty helpful too. Guys, if you got an optics ready gun of the Glock variety, fix-it sticks makes like a ready-built toolkit for you. This has come in handy on the range multiple times already. So once again, not an endorsement. I don't get anything from either Wheeler or Fix-It Sticks, but man, these are some pretty nifty tools. So I will see which one I end up using. Also, I'm going to use one of these Glock little parts trays to throw my stuff in so I don't lose it, because man, there's some small parts in there. Lastly, when I'm putting everything together, I may not go into grim detail, but I'm going to Loctite glue every single one of those screws just a little teeny bit. I don't want it to come loose on me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the pocket clip off so that it'll be nice and flat to work on. Okay, easy enough. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the screws in the pocket clip, that way hopefully I don't have to go hunt for them, and it should be relatively self-explanatory which one goes where. Next, I'm gonna remove this last screw on the outside scale here. Man, that thing came out really easy. I'm definitely gonna come back at this with some Loctite glue. And I'm going to put that on the same side of my tray where the clip went. I'm going to get these two screws from the other side first, and then I'll do the pivot. Same thing, guys. They came out really easy. I think a little teeny bit of Loctite. I'm not going to get crazy with it, and I'm going to use blue. You know, this is in a high shock environment, so, you know, Loctite medium strength and Loctite red is probably way too much for this application, in my opinion. Okay, so that's the two screws from that side. Next is the pivot. We're hitting the point of no return, guys, so let's hope I don't screw things up too badly. Alright, so we've got the one side off and the other. So I'm going to leave the screw for the pivot in the scale, and I'm going to leave the Civivi other side of the pivot on that scale. Now on this side of the knife, we've got the spring for the button lock. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to set that in the parts tray because it's a little itty bitty feller and I don't want to lose them. And the pivot itself, I wonder if it'll just lift that. It may not, depending on the angle of the knife. But there's the knife blade. There's the button for the button lock and the scales themselves. Now, there's nothing holding the scales in place. It's just those posts, but I'm going to leave them. I don't see any need to mess with that. I am going to go and degrease everything. I may fast forward through this, so but don't fear. I'm just degreasing everything, and I'm going to try and leave the little ball bearing collars in place on the blade so that I don't misplace those. Although I'm certainly trying to. Acetone, my favorite degreaser. I don't think I'm going to put it on the wood scales. I think I'm just going to wipe those off because wood, I don't know that acetone's the best thing for any stabilized wood, which these are. They've got a little pin at the top of the two scales. I think that's a stop pin, and it is free floating. It is not held in by anything except for the scales themselves. So got to be real careful not to lose that one either. The two rear posts, or three rear posts, they're all like little hourglass shape, so they just stay in place. If I pop this open, I'm sure they'd all come out, but I'm going to leave them as well. Two of them are threaded. One is just a pin. Like I said, I'm just going to wipe off the handle scales. I'm not going to get crazy. I just don't want them all completely gooed up with whatever lubricant was in there, and that's probably my fault as well. From what I am understanding, the button locks themselves should not really be oiled down heavily, so that might have been on me. I am going to take the button itself for the button lock, and I'm going to acetone it just a bit, because apparently it does not need to have a bunch of stuff on it. So if I acetone it, that should keep it from going anywhere. At this point, guys, I think I may be darn close to ready to put it all back together. I don't see any debris in the bearings. If you look at those little ceramic bearings that the blade rides on, this may be my one exception. I think I might put some lubricant on them, but I'm talking a very, very small amount. I'm not going to get crazy with it. And I am going to degrease all the surfaces where the button lock and the pivots all ride around, so that really the only place there's any lubricant at all is going to be on the ball bearings themselves. That's going to be it. The question is this: should I pull the two scales apart? Yeah, I probably should. Let's just get crazy and do the whole thing. So here we go. So there's your stop pin at the top and all of your pins at the base. Like I said, 2 of the 3 are threaded. I've got one that is absolutely not threaded. And look, I got a little more goo in there, so we'll just clean that off too. What the heck? All right, so that's pretty apart. Doesn't need to be any further apart. I mean, you certainly can take it more apart if you want, but I'm good with this. Like, this serves my purpose. It gets me down to what I need. I don't think I need to go any further. That liner goes there. That pin's gonna go right there. The spring and this button will definitely go in that spot right there. I'm gonna come and put them in last, or darn close to last. Now the knife blade itself, I'm gonna use the smallest drop of weapon shield on those bearings, guys. And weapon shield is a synthetic lubricant. It is not designed specifically for knives. I know there's somebody out there who's making something called a knife pivot lube, and that's cool, but I feel like any high quality synthetic, I just don't want to put too much on it, which I've done very slightly, so I'm going to kind of get away from that. I begin to think I'm going to have to put it in place on the blade itself. That would be smarter, right? Because it's got to ride in the thing to do the thing. So from that perspective alone, having the button lock sit in that spot and then place it is like, oh well, duh, there we go. Just like that. And then this scale will also go on. I think like this. Yes. And then I just have to get that one pin lined up. There we go. Now everything is 100% lined up. So then we put the other scale on it, like so. I get the Civivi pin lined back up, and then I'm going to turn the whole thing over, and I'm going to have to obviously start screwing the pivot first. Maybe I should have blue Loctited that one first. What do you guys think? Yeah, I may fast forward through the blue Loctiting portions of this event, guys, but trust me when I tell you, there's gonna be some blue Loctite applied. There's no way that this thing is gonna go back together without. Okay, I'm not gonna tighten that down yet. I am gonna put the other screws in on this side. And I promise you I'll wipe off all the blue Loctite before I'm done. All right, and then we will go to the other side, and I'm going to pocket clip first and then that last screw. And I think that might be all of the screws. It's not a super complicated knife. It's got some fiddly bits, but it's not bad. And guys, I'm definitely not going to the German spec of tightening things. That would probably be too much. Everybody knows the German spec, right? Good and tight? I know it's a bad joke. Sorry. You know, sometimes you just can't help yourself. I can't help myself. Sorry, guys. Might be slightly too tight. Almost. No rattle, easy drop. Perfect. Now I just got to wipe all the goo off of the knife. Yeah, not bad, not bad. So, one disassembly, one reassembly, and now it's flicking open, not rattling, and dropping shut nicely. That was what I wanted, guys. So that wasn't horrible. If you ever want to take apart a knife, guys, I don't know that I would tell you not to, at least this level of complexity. That wasn't bad. I was afraid that I could completely lose my way and end up having to put a bag of parts into the mail to Civivi, which, you know, I'm not above. I'm not above. That wasn't too bad. You know, 2 scales, 2 liners. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws counting the pivot. 1 spring, 1 button. As locking mechanisms go, as knives go, reasonably simple, guys. I don't hate this one at all. The fact that the locking mechanism got a little boogered up for me was kind of initially frustrating. I wouldn't want to carry this for a hard use knife, but I certainly wouldn't be averse to carrying it on the daily for more mundane tasks, which don't seem to be that big a deal. Once again, I've kind of restored my like in this knife after a quick kind of disassemble and wipe down. Guys, I hope that's been helpful. If you ever wanted to know what the heck it's like to take apart a knife, put it back together, well, now you know. And I didn't time this. I'll probably annotate how long it actually took in some subtitles somewhere. But still liking this knife, still liking button knives, or button lock knives. I guess the next big question is, what knife do I review next? Some people have told me to go a little higher dollar. I'm thinking about bumming a couple of really nice knives from a friend to show you guys, but we will see. We will see. I gotta tell you guys, just in general, still liking Civivi. Man, when you can buy a nice knife from anywhere from 60 to 100 bucks and you got higher end steels, nice materials, that not a bad gig. Guys, take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.